Hello, everybody. I just wanted to help us tonight. Been dealing with a whole lot of thoughts in my mind about negativity, negative thoughts, and negative things. And God brought it to my attention that as a child is growing up, or as a child is growing up, there are two things that are there: good and evil. We have the ability with the children under our care, we can speak to the greatness that is there, or we can speak to the negativity that is there, right? So what am I saying? I'm saying this. When you have a child and as they're growing up, we may see different tendencies in them. We may see a little girl that's very flirtatious appearing. They may always want to be up underneath a man, up underneath a guy. Or we may see a little boy that's always craving for attention from a woman, right? So what we tend to do is we tend to say for the girl, we either say she's going to be a tomboy, or she's going to have a bunch of kids, or she's going to have a bunch of different baby daddies, or and please hit like and share this message, because it's going to be kind of heavy. It's going to be kind of deep. So we may say that the little girl, either she's going to be a tomboy, or either she's going to have a whole bunch of children, or she's going to have sex early. All that is put on the little girl. And then when you see a little boy that's always up underneath a woman, we want to say, well, this little boy is going to be gay, or this little boy is going to be a heartbreaker. He going to have a lot of baby mamas. He going to have a lot of girlfriends, right? But in all actuality, what we're doing there, we're speaking negativity into their life, and we're planting the seed that that's all they're going to be. So in turn, they grow up to be that. The boy or the girl either grow up to be a certain type of way, or they grow up to be the other way, right? And then we wonder why they turned out to be that way, when in all actuality, we spoke it into their life. Because see, our words that we speak are actually seeds. And the children and the people that hear the word, either they're going to take it in or they're not. Okay. So with that good and that evil being there, let me show you the good part. We can speak to the child and we can see the greatness in them, and we can tell them you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you could be a teacher, you could be a judge, you could be a cop, you could be you could be anything you want to be. And then that child begins to strive to be the greatness that we saw in them, right? And then sometimes, even when we speak negatively, they're able to come out from under that. It depends on how they receive the people that God sends in their life to reroute them to do the good part. There are people that are going to come in their life to reroute them to do the bad part. But it's important for us to be accountable for how we treat that child, how we raise that child. I was told the story of how this lady had 5 kids. And out of a household, there's always a child that feels like they're the black sheep. And I was telling a friend of mine about this family that out of the 5 kids, they lived in the same household, had the same parents, the same occurrences happened, but each child had a different view of how their how their childhood was, right? So it's important for us to be careful about what we speak into our child's life, or what we speak into anybody's life. We have the power of life and death in our tongue. So if we continue to speak negatively, it makes a lot of hard work for the child to come up from under those words. So please be mindful of the words that you speak over your children's life. Whether they are in earshot or not, those words carry weight. And we want them to see and to see the greatness in themselves and to love themselves. I also want to hit on this. If you teach your child to hate the other parent, you're teaching them to hate themselves, because they are created from both of you. So if you teach that child to dislike any of their family members, their grandmother, if you teach them to dislike their father, if you teach them to dislike the siblings that they have by another, if it's a father and they have brothers and sisters by another woman, if you teach them to hate those kids or to dislike them, you are teaching them to dislike a part of themselves. So it's imperative that we do not do that. It is time for us to change back the family dynamics the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be able to love one another. So what if you and that man didn't work out? It is not the children's fault. So what if you and that woman didn't work out to the men? It is not the children's fault. You need to make it your business that those children know each other, because they're going to grow up in the same city and they may end up dating each other, and it's going to be our fault. It's going to be your fault as a parent if those kids grow up to date each other. And then you got to tell them later on, man, you know that's your sister, girl, you know that's your brother, but it's your fault because you didn't tell them. Just like a cousin or a relative, they could have a child by a cousin or relative because you don't want to tell them who their father is. We live in a day and time where the world is a small place. Okay, so even if those other family members lived in another town, they could possibly meet each other. So I challenge us today. I challenge each and every one of us today. Tell these children who their fathers are, who their family is, so that they can know their family. Because there are a lot of kids and a lot of families that end up marrying into the family because they don't know who their family is. They don't know their family lineage. They don't know their bloodline. Don't you think it's time to tell them? Don't you think it's time to tell the truth? Virginia Beach is a small place. It's not that far from Portsmouth. They live in Portsmouth. It's not that far from Newport News that they live in Newport News. Tell the truth. Let these children grow up together with the richness of having a large family. So parents, get over yourself and tell the children who their family members are. So what? Y'all don't get along. That's not the children's fault. Give them the opportunity to know their grandmother and grandfather. Give them the opportunity to know their aunts and uncles. Give them the opportunity to know their siblings so they can know them. Give them that gift of knowing that there's another side to them than just you. It's not fair to the children. It's really not. And then speak greatness into them. Speak greatness into them. We have the power of life and death in our tongues. So parents, please give the children the gift of knowing who they are. Of knowing who they are. Not just in God, but in the earth. God sent them to the earth with a purpose. They were born in a certain family dynamics for a reason. Let them know who they are. Let them know their father. Fathers, let the children know their mothers. If you're a single father raising your children, let them know who their grandparents are. Let them know who their aunts and uncles are and who their cousins are. Let them know that they have a large family. They're a part of something that's greater than themselves. They don't have to grow up to think that they're alone. Connect them to their family. Because for me, I'm happy that I'm a part of something that is larger than me, that is bigger than me. Not only am I a part of a family, I'm a part of God's movement. You will make a child happy to have been born when they see the extension of themselves, of where they came from. Give them the gift of knowing their parent. If they don't know their father, let them know who their father is. Let them know who their grandparents are, because it's not the grandparents' fault that you and the father didn't work out. It is not the new baby's fault that you and the father didn't work out. So let the children know each other. That it is very important. It is very important. Give them the gift of knowing their siblings. Give them the gift of knowing their aunts and uncles. Give them the gift of it. They shouldn't have to go on Ancestry.com to find out who they are. What all a mother has to do is open her mouth and tell the truth. When all the father has to do is open his mouth and tell the truth. And women, women and men, when you get in relationships and the parent is supposed to pay child support, they're supposed to have visitation with their child. If they're not paying child support and they're not visiting with their child and they live in the same city as their child, why do you expect them to take care of your children? That's a question I have really been pondering. If that man that you meet, that woman that you meet, y'all get in a relationship and they have kids and they're supposed to pay child support, you need to be asking them why. And why do you expect them to take care of your children that are not theirs if they're already not taking care of the children that are theirs? You need to send them right on back. And you need to make sure that they are taking care of their children. Okay? Now that's me for tonight. Being real, being transparent. Give these children the gift of knowing their family. And if you are with a man or woman that's supposed to be paying child support and supposed to have visitation with their children and they're not, you need to be asking questions why, and not expect them to come in your life and take care of you and your children and they're not taking care of their own. Y'all be blessed. Please remember to hit like and share. Give these children the gift of knowing who they are. Y'all be blessed.